Going back, what were your impressions of Bill Watts?
Hard-nosed, stubborn, professional. He didn't get involved too much. I mean, it's not like he ever chewed us out. I mean, you hear stories where he chewed out maybe some of the more main eventers. He had the head coach mentality, like the head football coach. He was such a dinosaur by then, though. He was outdated. He was stale. It was something where people, the problem with the business, they keep going back to old promoters and old bookers, old stale ideas. But, I mean, Bill Watts left to the point of Dusty Rhodes more took over. So I had more dealings with Dusty. And with Dusty being involved, because when Watts was there and he left, Eric really wasn't in the scene. Eric kind of came a little bit after, but you knew he had to get there, still going to push him. Dusty, nobody was getting near his kid. You know what I mean? That was the bottom line. You have your popularity. You have all the fans telling you. You hear it when you go to the ring.
Right.
And then you know it. And again, that's where it comes down to where you're not getting your just due. And I just learned, you know what? My bottom line was just keep sending me that check. I got to that point probably when WCW is where I realized it, where you can't change things. Like, you know, before that on the indie scene, you just keep working. You just keep plugging. You want to get your break, which may never come. Then when you got there, after being there for a year, I was in both federations right around 4 years each. And it was one of those things where you kind of like, you know what? Can't beat them, join them type of thing.
Right.
The guys that would be the squeaky wheel, depends on what kind of squeaky wheel you were. Because, you know, you might get a push from it, but, you know, they had to have some kind of aspirations for you to start with.
Right.
Okay, before they would push it. Squeaky wheels also got fired. So I was kind of like, all right, let me just, again, play it by ear and just see what I have. I learned things in WCW, maybe change a little bit once I got to WWE.
Who were some of the guys that you rode with in WCW?
Scorpio, Zink, Joey Maggs. Let's see. Ron Simmons was always a class. Always liked Ron. Ron just always had that attitude. What the fuck? That was what it came down. He just loved Ron. He always just took everything, like whatever it was. And it's that oh hell attitude. And that's what it came down to with him.
Right.
Scorpio was great. And again, you know, like Brad Armstrong, they kind of were in the kayfabe, so they, you know, you kind of kept with the. Again, like Brad Armstrong was a great guy, but again, he was mid-card. He was there forever. Those guys they couldn't share your enthusiasm. It just curtailed them. Right. You know what I mean? It just put a damper on things.
Did you think the Steiners were bullies?
You know what's funny? I broke in with Scott Steiner in Memphis, and I only met Rick Steiner about 3 months ago for the first time, believe it or not. Wow. They weren't there. We would switch federations when I was the one where they were the other and vice versa. Scott was always I love Scott. I mean, we broke in Memphis a week apart. That's when his brother was already established in WCW. We rode together in Memphis as long as we were there. And he was another guy that was just, you knew were just because of his last name, besides what he looked like, you knew what he was in store for great things. Just one of those things. Right. The name, who his brother was, his brother already had a job for years. But not bullies at all. I mean, I've never been in the ring. I've been in the ring with Scott as a tag partner way back again in 88, 89. But other than that, I don't think so. I mean, there are other guys. You say word association, you say bully, John, Bradshaw.
Right, okay.
He's one of the biggest bullies. Of all the guys I've ever been around, he was always a guy that would be picked. But it's typical high school or schoolyard bully.
Right.
Get the smallest guy, which was Brian Christopher. Mm-hmm. They tape up his ankles and his wrists, and he stick shit up his ass. Toothbrushes, pickles, whatever they could find. Right. Those old man Lawler sat there and had to watch. What was he going to do? Come and save him? Then the kid would be ribbed twice as hard.
Right.
I mean, I remember like it was yesterday. Bradshaw was your typical. Get him in the ring. Get him out of the ring. Bully, try and pick on guys because of his size. And when it came down to it, like I remember when they had that tough man contest, Bart Gunn knocked him out.
Right.
Guess what? That's what happened to the bully. So sure of himself, that one guy, either you expect or you don't, knock you out.
Yeah.
Same idea. Not the Steiners. I never looked at them like that.
I guess Jake Roberts was there. Jake Roberts was there at the time. What are your thoughts on Jake?
He was in WWE as an agent when I was there. Okay, they start putting him back in the ring. Again, another guy, just drugs got the best of him. I mean, he was a guy who leaves freaking. They finally fired him as an agent when he left. He sold his rental car for crack.
Right.
I mean, it's one of those things where, again, Jake Roberts, they had that name that will never be forgotten. That legitimate 80s superstar, which I have all the respect in the world.
Right.
Again, I just saw him a couple months ago. I mean, he looks like hell. It was just, drugs got the best of his life, took a toll on his life. You know, he's showing up, he's ODing, he's passed out, he's laying in the corner. I mean, again, he's an agent. How can guys look up to him? They laughed at him. They really did. They just like say, yeah, the guys always rib each other. They'll leave their cracks about, Jake, where's Jake? Did he OD? Shit like that. Just the same stuff. You know what I mean? Jake, for all the matches, nothing but a professional when it came to that. Nothing negative about that. Just totally professional when it came to that aspect of it. With the snake, being in the ring. But again, there's too much in this business where drugs rule these guys' lives. The thing, that's where I never fit in anywhere because I just didn't have to be.
Right. Thoughts on Sting?
Sting was a professional. Sting and Luger had the gym that we all worked out at, Main Event Fitness in Atlanta. Never had his nose up in the air. He was a top baby face. He was a real good guy. We worked out together. He traveled mostly with Bagwell. He was real close with Bagwell. But again, nothing bad. He got a great baby face, great fire. I never liked when he changed his look. I just thought that was, the crow and all that other shit. He was just, not many guys could do it with that look. The paint is like the same perception of having a mask. Like Mysterio right now couldn't be any popular. He's 2 foot tall, but because he has that mystery behind it and the mask, Sting was the same way. The spiked hair, the color, he could still be doing that right now.
Right.
He could still be doing that right now. But no, Sting, I get along great with Sting.
What about Lex Luger?
Lex was never there. Same thing. He was in the one, I was in the other, and vice versa. I never met Lex. I've only been around Lex a couple times, really. Nothing where I knew any, of them. Just like on an indie show, here and there, but nothing. Very little with Lex. Very little.
Memories of working with the Wrecking Crew?
Great guys. Real stiff, real sloppy, but great guys. And one was, as you know, there's Animal and Johnny Ace's brother.
Right.
And the other one was Al Green. But again, it was like they put you on. We had a couple pay-per-views. I forget what the hell they used to call those. The weeknight ones. They were on TBS. Clash of the Champions. Yeah, that's it. So just cumbersome. Like they're the kind of guys that don't make you look good. They were the Kmart Road Warriors. You know what I mean? They were the cheap knockoff. Loved them both because they would always you kind of look forward to knowing you work with them. But again, they didn't shine you. It wasn't like you were in there with Blanchard and Anderson. You know what I mean?
Right.
But great guys though. That's what that came down to.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.